nowadays. So you have to convert this to a decimal, which means you're going to divide by 100. It means you're moving the decimal left 2 places. So this is 0.008, and then you're multiplying that by $206.12. All right, so this is $1.65 in commission. Now that's for one share, okay? That's not very much, but we're buying 80 shares. So you either include that in the calculation, which is probably what we should do here, like that. So it's really that, like, this is how much you're buying, or this is the commission percentage. So, because that's not very much money. Nobody would do business if they're only making $1.65 there. So this ends up being $131.92 in commissions. Please double check that.
Wait, I thought you would have multiplied like the 80 shares by the $1.65 because that's $1.65 per share, right?
Yeah, so because I rounded that number though, you'd get a slightly different result.
Right. And I got
So
132 out of that.
okay, I mean we're not that far off, right?
Yeah.
So that's where I don't know what to tell you because it doesn't say. It actually doesn't say whether the commission is per share or on the total, but
Okay.
it's close
So
enough.
I would, okay, so let me figure this out. Hold on. So once I changed it into a decimal, I would then multiply it by how much I bought for the 80 shares, and then that'd be my
Exactly.
total.
Yes,
Okay.
that's exactly right.
Okay. Let me roll. Give me 1 second.
The 17 is really similar, different numbers. So Janet purchased 110 shares of stock. This really should say per share. Yes. It's 110 times 181.43. That will tell you how much you bought. And then the commission is charged on the total.
And then it would be,
So you have to convert this to a decimal,
what would be 0.016?
0.016. So notice the order doesn't matter when you're multiplying.
Okay. $219 and $32.32.
Now that's how much you paid in commission.
Okay.
This wants the total cost for the transaction. So that means the commission plus the sale of the stock. The sale is 110 times $181.43.
So we really only need to multiply 110 by 181.13.
So that's how much you need to buy the stock. You need that much to buy the stock, that much for the commission.
So, so I don't even need like the first top then.
You need both. You need how much you're paying in commission and how much you actually pay for the stock, and then you add these together.
Okay. Now we get that.
Is that okay?
Yes. I'm just writing this down because these are for my notes. So I was just confused at that part for a second, so that's why it took me a little bit. And that's 19,000. Is that 757 or 957?
957, yeah.
957. And then you add these.
Yeah, you're adding those together.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
So next question here says Mr. O'Boyle owns 200 shares of the stock. He filled them yesterday at the low price. So I presume that to mean the 181.43.
Mhm.
I don't know how you would know that for sure, but let's just say that.
Um,
If we had sold them at the high price instead, so the high price is what we were talking about in here, $206.12. What would be the difference in the amount he gained or lost? Right, so you have to figure out, well, let's say he did the high. The high is 200 times 206.12. The low is the same number of shares, but it's times the low price here. So we need to get the high and the low price, and then subtract the difference.
second one I got 36,286.
Okay. So you're going to subtract them.
I got 4,938.
Okay. All right. So since he sold them at the low price, he lost. This is how much he lost out on, or he missed out on, you could say.
Okay. What's the negative number? MST.
All right. So I think that's everything on that page. 16, 17, 18. Any other questions on there you want us to work through, or?
Well, if we get far enough, we can finish 7, 8, and 9, but it'll be after like the tax more assignment, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Okay. So then we can move on to PF4, I want to say it is.
Yep. Just looking to see. There's no like what I don't see is like, oh, this is problem number 2. I just see a problem number.
Yeah, so I'm stuck on 12 through 13, or well, actually 11 through 13, my bad. And those were the ones that I sent you because, like, I don't
Yeah,
know. I
what I
get
mean
how
is
to
like
do this.
there it is, question 7. Actually, sorry, I don't know why I couldn't see that at first. Let me just see if there's a better order to do these in. Let me see here. Okay, 7, 6. We should do 6, 5, 4. It's better
Oh,
to do
that's
them
for
in
the tax
order.
ones.
Yeah.
That's for the tax ones. We can do that one first.
All right. Let me start with question 4. That's the, or do you want to do PF? Sorry, so you want us to do PF4 first?
Yeah.
Okay, let me. All right, so PF4 is, you've got question 11,
Hmm.
12, and 13. Okay. let's go do 11 first. All right, now we're kind of in the same space here. Okay. An investor purchased 610 shares of stock for $114.30 per share and later sold them for 114.18 per share. The broker's commission was 1.89% of the purchase price and 0.61% of the selling price. Find the amount of the investor lost or made on the stock investment. Okay. All right. This is it's kind of complicated because it's reusing all the numbers. So let's just look at it. So they purchased 610 times 114.13.
Mhm.
So we need to first get that number, which is a large number. 69,619.30. But you also needed to
Multiply it by the
there's
percentage,
commission.
right?
What's that?
You multiply so you multiply how much you bought by the percentage, right?
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Uh, actually, what's not clear to me is whether you need to take into account the commission. I don't think you. Let me look at the next question. Sorry, maybe that will answer my question. All right. So the way I read this though is actually we don't need to know the commission,
Okay.
but it bothers me that they're giving you the commission,
They're trying to mess me out or trick me, I would say.
possibly. So
No,
possibly. So
definitely.
you purchased that price, and then you sold 610 at 105.18. So that's $64,159.80. To figure out how much you gained or lost, you would subtract the two. Um, and so the issue here is he bought, well, he or she bought it for a higher price than they sold it at, so they're going to lose money.
Right. They lost $5,459.50.
That is confirmed here in a moment. Yes. So to me, it's the investor lost a total of $5,459.50. Will you try that and let me know? If this isn't the right answer, then we have to account for commissions.
It is not right, but it is a loss. So
Okay, so there is more to it. So that we do need to account for commissions. So do you still have another guess on this one, or is it a new
yes,
problem?
I do. Yeah,
Okay.
I have no idea.
All right. So here's what it really is. It really is that the person paid this amount. They paid these two added together, the purchase price plus the commission. What's that? Which ends up being $70,935.10. Is that okay so far?
Um, so I need the sold
We're
person.
gonna get to that where there's more to do. But like you purchased it for that amount, you had commission of this amount, you had them together. Like he person had to have this much money.
Mm-hmm.
Now to sell it, when he sells it, he or she gets this amount of money, but he has to pay commission again. He has to pay $64,159.80 times the selling commission, which was 6.0, it's 61.61%. So that's going to be added in, and then you're going to subtract this out.
Where did we get the 64,000 from?
When you sell it at the lower price. 610 shares at $105.18.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I mean, this is the way it works in the real world. When you want to buy stocks, you pay a commission, which means you have to have that much money. To sell it, you also have to pay a commission, which means you're not actually getting all that money. You have to first pay the commission and then you get the money.
Right.
Okay,
That
so
sounds
you
like
have
so
to,
much.
yeah, so you have to add in, you have to add this and then subtract this, and that'll tell you how much you've lost.
So I'm adding 391 and 37 cents to 64,159 and 80 cents.
I'm a little behind you here. Get that.
Um,
So I have a loss of $77,166.67. Sorry, not 71. $7,167.
I'm subtracting. Okay. Wait, am I subtracting it?
Well, it depends on how you look at it. Like it depends on your perspective. So when you purchase something, it's like a negative. So these are really all negatives. I mean, like when you purchase it, that's a negative, that's a negative, and that's a positive
Oh,
because you're getting that back.
yeah. So I'm adding all of these negatives up.
Yes.
Okay, that makes much more sense now. I was a little bit. confused. Right now we can go on to four.
Did that work though? Is the right
Yes, it
answer?
did work.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, let me pull up the next question here. All right, so that was 11. Well, hopefully 12 was not as sophisticated.
This is their first year of introducing stocks and taxes, so it's definitely different.
So suppose that you buy 620 shares of stock at $84.07 and pays an annual dividend of 15 cents per share. Then you sell your shares at $97.90 6 years later. What would your profit be 6 years later? So it's a scenario. It's like, okay, you pay, let's go through this way. So you pay 620 times 84.07 upfront.
Right.
Okay, so we need that amount. That's working against you. That's costing you money.
Costing me $52,123.40.
8407.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. All right. So that's right. Now you receive every year 52 cents times 620. So year one, you get that, year two, you get that. So you get that for 6 years. That's the dividend. All right. And then when you sell at the end, you also receive 620 shares times $97.19.
And what was the third one called?
When you sell, you're selling,
When you said,
buy, dividend. And that's $60,000, 257.80 cents. So the pay is a minus, the dividends are a positive, and the sell is a positive.
I got 10,068.80 cents.
Let me know if is that correct?
Got it. Okay. Now on to 13.
So it's probably pretty similar. All right, suppose your stock reached a low of $100.40 on November 10th. 1 year later, the stock closed at $140.76. Suppose you invested $20,100 in stock on 11/10, buying as many whole shares as possible. You paid an online brokerage fee of $90.99 for the purchase. How much profit would you have made? Okay, so again, it's a scenario here that's maybe very foreign to you. So you this one's worked a little bit backwards. You paid $20,100, but there was this fee of $9.99, which means that you only actually were able to buy $20,090.01. Like this is the actual money you had to buy stock.
Okay.
And it's $100.40 per share. So you're going to divide to figure out how many whole shares of stock that you can buy. And so the point is you probably couldn't buy, well, I don't know. I guess must work out nicely. We'll see. Um, so we're taking that 20,091 cent, dividing it by $100.40, and it says you bought. Wait a second. Maybe I'm reading this wrong. Maybe the issue I'm having here is I can't it's like you paid this amount, but it says you can only buy whole shares.
Right.
And the problem is when you either do this one or if you use the original amount, it's not quite a whole share. So my I guess this is gonna be one of those where we're probably not gonna get it right, and you're gonna have to send in your work because they're slightly different. Like this suggests that when you divide the 20,090, no, this is 90, yeah, 90. All right, let me try one more thing here. I'm just kind of looking ahead. This doesn't seem to work out quite right. Minus 999. Yeah. So doing it this way, you can buy 200 shares. But if you work it backwards, the problem is if you work it backwards, you say, okay, about 200 shares at $100.40.
Yeah.
It's not 20,100.
It's like higher than that. Yeah.
It's a little bit, it's a little bit like less. 200 times $100.40 plus the 9.99. So like we're just way off here. So I don't know what to do because it's
Um, I mean, yeah, it is off, it's off by $90.
um let's just do it this way. So I think they bought 200 shares. We'll just try that out. And we know that the person paid, we'll just say that they paid that much. Now, a year later, you have $114.76 per share times the 200 shares that you bought. Okay, so we need to figure out that amount. Like what's it now worth? Which is $22,952. And then you're going to subtract, well, sorry, you're going to subtract out 20,100, but then you also paid the fee 9.99 in both cases.
And you also subtract the 9.99 two times.
Yeah, so this ends up being $2,872, but you spent 9.99 twice, $19.98.
Yeah.
You have to subtract from that. Now, does it say to
Um,
round?
no, I'm telling you.
So this ends up being $2,852.02.
Oh, wait, I must have did my math wrong. Give me one more second.
Sure.
22,952 minus 20,100, I got was 28.52.
Uh,
So that's like 28.72.
yeah, I see that.
And then where did you get
Oh
the
yeah,
1998
that's right.
from?
I did that slightly differently. Yeah,
Okay.
I used the different price for that. Okay, times 200 minus 2,100. Yeah, so I got 28.32 and 2 cents doing
There
it
we
that
go.
way.
I was just like, wait, all right, awesome.
Yeah, but again, it may not be right because it's this there's this issue here. You're not actually spending the full 20,100, but it's not clear. So
Yeah, I didn't get that one right. I'll just bring that one into my teacher. It's fine.
okay, so does that take care of all of those?
Yeah, on that one, yeah. Now we
Okay.
can move on to PF5.
All right, so question 4. Do you have the sample tax rate table?
Yes, I do.
Okay. All
Would you like me to send that over to you?
right. Yeah, I'll need that to be able to help with this question.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, so this table is fairly complicated. This married filing separately tells you the column that you're in. So that's the second column. And the way the table works is it tells you your tax rate like up to a certain amount. So you you pay 12% on the money you make between $11,000 and 44,725, but not the first $11,000. Okay, so this may be a little unclear, but you take your taxable income and you subtract out that minimum number like that. And so you actually are only paying 12% on $25,885. That's the 12%. So you're only paying this amount on the amount over $11,000 and between that 44,000.
So I would just subtract 36,800. So I would just subtract any number by 11,000 and then multiply it by its percentage, tax
Yeah,
percentage.
that's the simple case. If you made more than the 44,000, you'd have to do another calculation.
Right.
And it's called this progressive tax scale where you end up paying more and more tax, but we'll get to it. We'll get to how to do that in a moment. But yeah, go ahead and multiply this and see if that works there. Hopefully it does. If it doesn't, um,
3,106 and 20 cents.
okay, that sounds okay.
No, that is not right.
This is one of those where again, how do we know that they're using that tax table that you sent over?
How do we know that they
Well,
use
like we don't we the whole point of this right here is using the tax tables that's referring to. I mean, are we 100% sure that it's
that?
this one?
Yeah, I'm 100% sure. My teacher gave me.
Remember we had some issues with conversions in previous.
Yeah.
It's along those lines of if you're not using the right conversion, then now there's another little thing here about deductions. So let's consider that um, for so there's also this thing at the bottom of the page where it says um, deductions. So there's this. Let me just snip it in. So there's this standard deduction.
Right.
So we're in this column right here. So what that typically allows you to do is subtract out your from your taxable income. So your taxable income is this amount I've circled here, but you're allowed to
Mhm.
take out a deduction, which lowers your taxable income. And what
Right.
isn't clear is if they've already accounted for that. So, I mean, I don't know. Well, let's just subtract that. That's your taxable income. You don't pay any taxes on the first 11,000. So we're going to subtract out the 11,000, and that's the number that we're going to multiply by 0.12. We'll see if this is any better. So this ends up being that you only are paying taxes on 12,035 times 0.12, which ends up being 14,000. I'm sorry, not 14,000, $1,444.20. And that is maybe a question for your instructor to ask is if you're supposed to consider the deductions, because it doesn't say anything in here about this. It doesn't say like, oh yeah, by the way, don't forget to take the standard deduction.
Right.
Make sure you're not, I don't know if you're supposed to enter it with or without the dollar symbol. My guess is without.
So wait, so hold on. I put it in my calculator and I just didn't get anything. It said syntax error, so I'm just trying to get that answer again because I don't see it on here.
It's just to go through it like step by step. So you're taking your initial income, your taxable income, you're subtracting out what's called a standard deduction. Okay, so subtract that first. Then, and this is what I don't think most people understand is, and why this is so weird, is that you don't pay any tax in the first 11,000. So you
Mm-hmm.
only have to figure out how much more than 11,000 did you actually make.
Um,
So that's going to give you the 12,035.
and then I would do the 12,035 multiplied by 0.12. And then I get 1.482. Oh, you said with no dollar sign?
I don't know, with whatever you think has been working in
Okay,
those.
I think it's gonna be with the dollar sign. But it's always the government never taxes like cents, right? It's always like that's what my teacher told me. So I don't think I put the 20 cents at the end. I think it would just be 1,444.
Remember, the person who wrote the software never met your teacher. So
I
they
know.
so yes, the answer is yes. The federal, when you file a tax return, it's to the nearest dollar.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know where that all goes. Maybe it averages out, but I have no idea.
You were way off. It's $4,206.
So let's see. So you said the answer is 4,206.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just try this at a more simplistic way. Let's take the original amount, which because that may be what they're referring to here. The original amount, you said 4,206,
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So here's the problem. The problem is that you're they're using a different rate than uh um than 12%. So if I just take the answer and divide it by that, 36,885. They're using like an 11.4% rate. So I don't know that this question is going to be doable the way it's given. Like meaning your
Okay.
teacher, you're not your teacher's giving you these great tax rates. I think it's nice and all that, but these are not the ones that they're using in
Right.
there. Now let me try one more thing here. Let me try one more thing because I maybe the teacher is. I mean, it's pretty close, not terrible. So
Mm-hmm.
plus 36,885. Okay. Oh, all right. I do now. I know how to do the calculation. All right. I did find it. All right. So we can do this. Do you have a different one problem now with new number?
I can do a similar question.
Yeah. Just give me the unless these other things have changed. Hopefully, it's still married filing separately.
It's gonna be single, and the income tax is 65,258.
This one, like this. It's still married filing separately.
No, it's single now.
Oh, this one's more complicated. Okay. All right. So now try to do a better job of explaining this. So the way your teacher presented this is not very good because it was very unclear. So here's what's happening. On your first 11,000, you are paying 10%.
Mhm.
Okay. And on the next chunk of money, so your next chunk of money is 11,000 to 44,725. You're making way more than that. So
Mhm.
it's 44,725 minus 11,000 times 0.12. Then the next chunk of money, 65,258, subtracting out the 44,725, you're paying 22% on that. So the way this works is you like go to wherever your number is in this table and you pay the tax on the first amount, then you pay the full tax on the next percentage on the next grouping of money, and then you only pay the higher rate on the amount you made over that kind of starter amount.
The first one I got 1,100.
Okay.
The second one I got 43,405.
I got
Same thing.
4,047 on that one.
I didn't put the parentheses, that's why I think. Yeah, now I got that. Okay, and then for the last one, I got 4,517 and 26 cents.
So you're gonna add up these three numbers, I guess round to the nearest whole dollar.
I got 9,691 and 26 cents.
We both have slightly different results here. You said
How I got what you let me do this thing. Okay, yeah, I got what is it.
so give that a try. Hopefully it works.
I got it right.
Let's see what the next one is. We'll see if we have time to do that. So question 5 is married filing jointly. Okay. So the occupation doesn't matter. Well, that's not true. So if you were like in the military, you don't pay, well, your income taxes and stuff change as well. So the taxable income again is 196,831. So you're going to that table and you're using married filing jointly. Okay, so you're using this like third column. So the first one is 10%. 12, 22, 24. And so that's where you are in this one. Now, the one thing is here that makes is you get a tax credit of that. That means you calculate all your, like you calculate your tax owed and then you subtract out the tax credit. So it's still 0.1 times 22,000. 0.12 times, you have to subtract these to get how much income is in there. And then same thing with this one, 22. And then you only pay the higher tax rate on that last little bit of income. Like that. If you want, we can pick up here in 10 minutes. Or if you
Yeah,
really want us
sounds
to
good.
finish it, we can. But yeah, probably
No,
good to
I'll
just pick
finish
up
this
here.
while we're on the break.
So whenever you get this total, you're going to subtract out the 950 from it.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. I'll be back. Please use that other link. I guess it's the one for 6 that you were just scheduled for 6 that's now
Yeah,
4. So all right, I'll see you
awesome. I'll use
shortly.
that.